Good afternoon to everybody. It's a great honor to be here today, and my first words is just to say thank you to the organizing committee for inviting me to share part of the work we are doing in Peru and South America. So those are my disclosures, and a couple of words regarding background. Machado-Joseph disease is a well-known disorder in terms of, it's kind of considered like the most frequent dominant ataxia worldwide. However, there are some difference on frequencies and prevalence across regions. Regarding the Americas, a couple of months ago, as you can see in the slide, there was published a review trying to show the frequency of cases of dominant ataxias. And as you can see in the slide, there are differences across regions and also in South America. So in our country, Peru, it's mostly a mixed Latino population. We have like over 70% of Amerindian ancestry component. And we have, by 2012, only 2 reported case reports of Machado-Joseph disease. One of them was presented by our group in an international meeting of movement disorders, and the other family was published on a local journal. So considering there was limited information regarding the frequency of these families and cases in Latin American countries, we start looking about the cases we were following in our clinic, and we have only 5 index cases since 1996. By the way, we work at the National Institute of Neurological Sciences, which is like kind of the national reference center for neurological disorders and also for inherited neurological disorders. So what we have as an aim for this study, we plan to expand the Machado-Joseph pedigrees based on these 5 index cases previously identified, and to describe the main clinical features in our cohort. So for that, we designed a 2-phase study starting with an initial contact with the index cases. Some of them were actually follow up regularly in our clinic, and one of them at least was contact by phone. So after coordinations, we organized everything, and supported by an international consortium that we just started together with Brazilian and German and Israel colleagues. We start to plan the visits to these 5 different families. So during the home visits that were performed from February to April this year, we complete like a full pedigree drawing and expanding the pedigree of each family, obviously the informed consent, and starting a pretty much standardized clinical assessment, including the ataxia rating scale, FARA, and also cognitive assessment with MoCA and the use of a depression scale as well. We took samples for all affected individuals from those families and completed the genetic diagnosis, the genotyping of the CAG repeat expansion on the ATXN3 gene. For those positive cases, afterwards, we performed the appropriate genetic counseling to disclose results under genetic counseling appointments. For 3 of the families, this appointments were performed in our center, and for 2 of them, we came back to their houses to complete this task. So these are the main results. We expand from the 5 original families, we actually complete 16 affected individuals together. And as you can see in the bottom part of the slide, it was really rewarding experience, because we, during each home visit, we spend like hours with families, and we are so grateful with all of them. We have plenty of memories. I can tell you like for hours about like a lot of stories from family. We're so grateful with them. And at the end, we can, just for you to know where are located these 5 families. This is our country. By the way, we have coast, the Andes, and also we have the Amazon jungle. And 2 of those families were in the northern coast of our country. 2 other of them close to the capital city, which is Lima. By the way, the Lima concentrates 1/3 of the whole population of Peru. And the 5th family is from Central Highlands in Peru. Regarding the clinical results, these are the summary tables. As you can see here, the majority of affected individuals were actually male, a little bit. So those are the CAG repeat expansions, the means, both from the normal allele and also for the affected one. The age at onset goes from 20 years of age up to 64, was the oldest affected individual. And the SARA score is also included, as well as the MOCA and the PHQ-9, which is the depression scale. Regarding the main clinical symptoms are disclosed here, and as you can see, obviously all of them were kind of ataxic with dysarthria, sensation abnormalities, all over 90% of cases. Also abnormal eye movements. When we talk about abnormal eye movements, we are considering both like saccadic abnormal movements and also pursuit movements. Nystagmus, some of them, half of them with dysphagia, hyperreflexia, amyotrophy, and polyneuropathy as well. And as a summary on conclusions, initial conclusions from these 5 families expanded that we have, we can say that at least up to now in Peruvian population, Machado Joseph is a relatively uncommon cause of dominant ataxia. And the clinical presentation of 15 of these cases, one of them unfortunately passed away before this work, showed like most of them an adult onset disorder with variable ataxia severity and coexistence of non-motor symptoms. What is also important, and I forgot to mention in the table here, is we try to track the history of each pedigree back to the ancient affected ancestor on each affected family. And as you can see, 4 of the 5 identified families declared at least an foreigner affected ancestor outside our country. We have 1 affected ancestor from China, from the UK, 1 from Trinidad and Tobago, and 1 Japanese one. So only 1, as much as we can draw in the pedigree, are declared as a Peruvian, even the Asian ancestors. So that is why our last conclusion is like, apparently most of the cases are not necessarily from our community, from Peruvian population, and in most of them are kind of perhaps came from other regions of our country. I want to thank the team of the Neurogenetics Research, the USACH consortium, that we just started to study biomarkers on neurodegeneration using two models, Machado Joseph and also Huntington's disease, and Rede Neurogenética do Brasil, who helped us for a long time with molecular diagnosis in our country, and our founding agencies in Peru. Thank you very much for your attention.